So today I decided that I'm going to be looking at this Shankland course on the Semi-Slav, and in particular doing just a few lines, the ones that are related to white playing g3. The reason being that it seems like recently a lot of people online have begun playing g3 against the Semi-Slav, or in various move orders playing g3. It's just become very popular for some reason in the last couple of weeks, and so I want to look at this to get some ideas. I haven't looked at it in a long time. I did go through this entire book at some point, but it's basically like I'm doing it for the first time, just because I haven't really been reviewing it. So, and I only went through it once, so this should be kind of fresh, like me guessing what to do and seeing what Shankland wrote here, and hopefully that'll be nice for you guys too. Alrighty, so let's see what I can remember. I thought that at some point he wanted players to capture on c4, and that's what I've been playing in Blitz a lot in the last couple of weeks as I was trying to get ready for some upcoming events, but I don't really think that that's the right way. Maybe just castle here, yeah. Okay, so that's the first line. And let's see if he has some interesting commentary. Yeah, white is aiming to transpose to a Catalan. We can't play the normal Semi-Slav structure because white hasn't played knight c3. This is the end of the line, so knight c3 is here. He's talking about the beginning of the line. So it'll be harder to hang on to the c4 pawn. Okay, this is probably a good takeaway here, that if white is delaying knight c3, taking on c4 is quite dangerous, because they could pressure the pawn either directly or with some knight moves. That's not a knight move, that's a knight move. And those aren't possible in the main lines, so that's probably something for me to remember for when I go back to playing Blitz after this. And he gives bishop f5 an exclamation point. I think I was neglecting to play that most of the time against this. Okay, let's go to the next one. He gives an alternative here, so maybe we could take a look at this alternative. I imagine it's queen b6 against queen b3 all the time. And here we could just take the queen, but that's usually not how this goes. But if we play queen c7, then there's bishop f4. That can't be good. So the only thing that's really different here is queen a6. Because if we play queen a5, then there's queen b7, and we don't have anything good there. So maybe queen a6. Seems a little far-fetched. Why not? Let's see. Okay, so he wants us to take here. I was hesitant to capture on b3 because this rook is very active whenever you play queen takes b3. Maybe the idea here is to bring the knight to b4. Alright, called that alternative, so maybe I have to play this first, and then this. I figured I should try to get this going quickly, but it looks like there's no obligation to. So why is this an alternative and not a main move? Maybe it's an alternative for white, but usually alternative moves are for black, so I'm confused about that. This whole course is for black. Right. So somebody was asking, how is it Semi-Slav if black has only played 3 moves? In this section, it's not the case that black has only played 3 moves. It's just that the distinctive characteristic is that white played this 4th move, g3. So that's the specific variation I'm looking at. It's not just that I'm starting on move 3. Okay, so we do this, and this was my move before. And I could go here, but they want us to go here. Oh, okay, so it looks like the bishop e7 line that we just looked at was an alternative for this position. So we have a third move. It's not knight a6, it's not bishop e7. Maybe it's bishop h7, but that doesn't look really right to me. Knight b d7 also seems like it could be a thing. But I just don't like this pressure on the pawn. But I don't want to play a6 or a5 because it allows knight a4 and knight b6. Or at least the pawn is just going to be weak long term. Knight e4 seems logical. Okay, so a6 is directed against pawn b5. But it allows knight a4, right? I think I have to play king d7. But that allows knight e5 check. Yeah, if I play king d8, then there's still knight e5. It's not check, but it's dangerous. So maybe bishop d8. Then there's knight d6. All that looks bad. Clearly I don't remember what I did before. I kind of remember that I looked at this, but I don't remember what to do. King d8, knight e5, and then rook f8. It looks kind of forced. I don't know. Oh, he says that we're like fine with accepting a draw. I didn't really want to draw. They could play knight c7, rook a7, knight b5, rook a8, knight c7, draw. That was the idea. And I imagine this should go on c6. Maybe this. I was thinking like if they trade, I can play bishop takes e4 and then get rid of their bishop on g2 as well. But we also have like knight b4 type stuff. Maybe bishop g4, make them play e3. Or maybe bishop e4, so they take, and then pawn takes, and then knight probably to d2, and then knight takes d4. That could be a thing. Okay, so it's g5. Something more committal, but with the same idea, I think. Like, it would be cool to play g4 and then take this pawn. Alright, and that was the end of his line, so he wants this. And I thought there were a bunch of moves unbespoken here that were important. Like knight a4 type things. I wish I could turn this repeating part off, where it's like you just do it one time and then it's over. Because it really is sort of tedious. If that's not what you need in your life. I'm also kind of skeptical about the science of the threefold repetition thing. I'm not that confident that it really helps so much. But maybe I'm also not following the method right. So I look at a lot of chess content, I don't repeat that much, and I think the repetition is their important part. Alright, this is obvious. I'll keep moving. Yeah, I was thinking that knight a4 to b6 was an idea, but he didn't address it, so I guess it's not critical somehow. I'm kind of just continuing onward in case he addresses it. And And if he doesn't, we could probably whip out an analysis board. Okay, so here I imagine I should just finish my development. Tuck this away. That's why we played h6. For the good old tuck away. I could play just knight e4 here. Yeah, it looks fine. And I thought I should take with the bishop. Get rid of this one. Play bishop g5 maybe. That looks pretty fine. Like, bishop g5, bishop d6, rook e8, f4 could actually be problematic. So maybe not that. Knight f6 to e4. Bishop f6, maybe. Just try to make them put all their pawns on dark. Definitely I'm just not touching the queen side here. I don't know, kind of feel like that one made sense. Okay, so they both made sense. We gave it as an alternative. Breaking with e5. Really? Alternative? Maybe do this first because they don't have a useful way to prevent e5. Yeah, I think I have a hard time playing these kinds of like generally useful improve your pieces type moves, even though that's like what they teach you to do first as a chess player. I definitely don't do that so well. If I can do it right now, I usually just want to do it right now and then develop later. Okay. So here it looks like a situation where I can still delay h6, because if they play knight h4, I could play bishop e4 and severely inconvenience them. So probably I should just develop. Or develop. Okay, no. Yeah, I don't know when to like do the main thing or when to just develop a piece. Jeez. Frustrating. Oh yeah, I remember this now. In the other line where we did a6, the knight was already on c3, so they were actually threatening b5. So we don't have to play a6 in this line when the knight is still on b1. And here, we play knight a6, b5, and then if we took the pawn, it would give them something to do, attacking that pawn. So we don't take it, and when we come back, they would rather have the knight on c3 to guard this pawn. Okay, so they have to do this. We could probably just go ahead and play a6, or knight a6 again. Yeah, that's right. Okay, now here I was thinking to develop a piece, but h6 is what they want. Probably because bishop g5 is a thing. I didn't think about that. That's probably important. And here, castling, we don't need to play a6 because they didn't play knight c3. And now we're going back, and that's good. Okay. Alright, so they're bullying this knight. Bullying is bad. Don't do that. I don't think we have any knight c2 fun times. Because after maybe rook c1, rook a c1, ideally we'd want to put pressure on d4 and then take it using the knight on c2. Otherwise the knight's just kind of stuck there. So that's not happening, so I think we have to play knight a6. Okay. I thought rook c1 made more sense. Okay, so how are we dealing with this knight being kind of trapped? At least it's not under attack, so maybe knight e4, harass the bishop. I don't know. Oh yeah, I forgot that we're a pawn up. That's kind of an important detail in this position. This is what happens when they let us just take the pawn and keep going. It feels a little weird to just have this knight hanging out here on c2, probably for the rest of the game. So I want to know like how I'm creating trouble for them to try to divert them from the simple plan of corralling the knight. Guess it's not that simple. But I could imagine something where like they play knight h4 and then like f3 and e4. Or just e4, so that when you take, awful arrows, take, and then a rook takes on c2. So, yeah, I feel like they do have a plan to take this knight. So what are we really doing here? Oh, I didn't realize we're at the beginning again. Yeah, right there. So if I whip out the analysis board, can you guys see that? It looks awful, but you can see it. Okay. Just want to see like a sample line. So flip on this engine. Do I think chessable is good when I'm only looking for a few new lines here and there rather than full openings? So let me answer that by answering a sort of bigger question. So I did not buy or read or care about opening books until like less than 2 years ago, I would say. The reasons for that, it's like I was getting on really well just like making things up at the board, but to try to beat people who are titled consistently, I can't just make things up at the board because they'll go home, do their homework, and so on. So once I figured out that that was a problem, I still didn't buy opening books. I just did analysis at home with databases, and that worked pretty well. But what's really beneficial about actually getting opening books is you know what other people are thinking about when you keep up to date on the most recent books. So you can predict the trends, and you can prepare for specific things that people are going to do. People are just going to copy the strong players a lot of the time and not do their own work. So if you do a little bit of extra work and find problems or incompleteness in what the strong players are recommending, then you can beat those people. So I think that's the main benefit of something like chessable. In which case, yes, if you're just looking for like a few new lines here and there, you can definitely get that from chessable. Okay, here it says like rook c1, obvious move for white. I'm just looking for like the plan. What's the plan here? Yeah, maybe they'll solidify that real quick, or maybe they'll play this. Let's just pretend, and then play e4. Oh, okay, they can defend tactically like this. So they probably do have to play like f3, but that allows g5, right? Or f6. it looks like at some point, you know, like if they just try to maintain the status quo here, we are playing, or maybe we could even play this. I don't know. Well, no, now there's g5. At some point, we want to play something like b5 so that when they take, we open lines on the queen side. So that's the answer to my question. In this position, the way we're going to handle the lack of clarity with our knight is by trying to open the queen side later on. And they can't really stop it. Okay, so now they're holding on for dear life. I do all of the short and sweet books. Well, not all of them. I kind of ignore Simon Williams' books. But all of the credible looking short and sweet books by a strong player who's actually a coach with an incentive to put out good content, I'll check those just to get like the broad strokes of what they're recommending so I can predict what people are going to be up to in the coming months. And that's free. So that's a good way to use Chessable, in my opinion. Okay, I'm about to flag. I don't know what move to play. I'm going to play this one. So he mentions here in the text that there's a tactical problem with rook a4. It's that if you try to do this to get it over here, there's going to be bishop c2. That could be a problem. And meanwhile, we're just putting our knight on a good square. So I think this is a pretty reasonable sequence to find in a game. Here, they're just letting me take the pawn, so I do. I think I should protect it with the rook. But then there's bishop f4. I could maybe just give it back. They say it's, you know, it's good to be polite and give back the pieces that you take from them. But it could also be b6 because our rook's protected now. Take, move your knight, blah blah blah. Yeah, this looks most reasonable. Just don't blunder anything. Okay. So that's more good news for black. And we were looking at this scenario. I think they want to play pawn b6, so we should probably not let them. Take this. With the new move trainer, they actually kind of show things in a backwards way, and I'm not sure why they do that. Like, we looked at a consequence of this position first today, and it shows up earlier in the sequence. Like, when I scroll through the list of topics in this chapter of fourth move alternatives for white, you know, I'm just going number 5, 6, 7, blah blah, all the way down. And somehow the earlier ones are actually like consequences of the moves that are being trained in the later examples. I don't know why they do it like that. I'm not sure that makes sense to me. Okay, so here we take in 3 different ways. I know that whenever you have played c takes d5 and they play queen b3, we don't want to play queen b6 because they can take and our pawn structure is bad. So if I play c takes d5, they'll probably play queen b3. So I find it pretty likely that I should play knight takes d5, and after knight d2 they're threatening e4, so that's kind of a bummer. Maybe I'm taking with the pawn and after queen b3 responding with something else. Let me try that. Okay, so here I don't think it should be queen b6. Maybe I can just give up this pawn because their development is pretty non-existent. Like maybe knight c6 and then something. Or I could play queen a5 check, bishop d2, queen a6, but then there's e4. That looks bad. I could play queen c8 here, hit their bishop, protect b7. Maybe go for like bishop h3 type stuff. Queen c8 looks reasonable. And then knight c6. I think I have to do that. Time's low. Okay, that was an alternative. So maybe it's queen c7. Then they have bishop f4. It could be e6, queen takes b7, knight d7. Same reasoning, just their development's bad. Alright, I'm just gonna do that. Okay, these are all alternatives, which is sort of strange. Maybe knight d7 first, with some kind of fun idea. Again, an alternative. I'm hesitant to just play knight c6 because after queen b7 the knight is hanging in a serious way. And I can't play knight b4. Normally I'd want to play knight b4. And if I play knight a5, they have queen b5. Maybe knight a5, queen b5, bishop d7, and then the game goes on. That just seems complicated. Alright, let's just try it. It was the one move that I ruled out right away. It says black is fine here because the knight is not yet on c3 to cause problems on d5. I thought it was more of a long-term problem. For example, like they take, play knight c3 now, and they're getting a knight outpost on b5. We have to defend our pawn on b6 forever. I'm not too sure about this one. It seems hard to justify it. So I guess I have my homework cut out for me about what I should be looking at later on. Alright, now here I could think about taking on c4. I think this is a situation where that could be the case. So let's try it. It's an alternative. We go here. Now we take. No? Okay. I want to transpose. We already looked at this. Another thing that I mess up a lot is I try to exploit move order differences, and like I could just transpose, and I never really get it right when I should try to exploit the switching of the moves. So bishop e4 kind of comes to mind, but I could also play bishop g4, h3, bishop h5. If they play g4, I have knight takes g4. Actually, no, pawn takes. So I'd have to play bishop g6. Yeah, I don't know if I would rather give it for this knight or this knight right now. I'll try this one. Alternative, so it should be this one. No? Go here. Alright, how are all the bishop moves alternatives? We have to give up this bishop. Excuse me. If I like take here, I'll be a pawn up, but it's going to be a very brief moment of fame. Bishop b4 could be a thing. I don't know, I'm just gonna guess. I just don't know. I thought that this would be a bad structure for me. And b5 is an alternative, so I definitely missed something. I thought here I would be kind of obligated to play this. Maybe now bishop b4. Bishop takes c4, knight e4. Even that's not anything concrete. They would have queen b3 hitting f7. I'd have to take on c3, b takes c3, and then I still have problems. Maybe bishop b4. No, I don't know. Alright, just gotta go for it. Develop the knight. I don't really like my pawn structure very much here. If I had a pawn on d5, I'd feel a little better about it, I think. I guess I should just develop my pieces or something. Yeah, I can't guess a single move in this line. Little frustration move here. Okay. Maybe this. Okay, so finally he's telling the point that black wants to castle long. Definitely wasn't in my thoughts. I thought that I want to castle short and play g6 to support this pawn. Maybe even bishop g7. Or bishop f6. And so there are 2 points that, since the bishop is on b3, no, sorry, since the pawn is on g3 instead of a4 being played, a4, a5, a6, which is a good plan, is slow, and black has the ability to play h5, h4, and then take on g3. So this is something to keep in mind. And queen d7 is just to prepare long castling. I guess I could castle any time once the attack's going. Maybe bishop d6 so they can't play like f3 or anything. Okay, so this was a funky scenario. They played g3 instead of a4. And we're giving up the bishop pair and ruining our structure, which normally is a no-no. So that we can attack on the king side. And here we're not even defending this, we're just developing. And I wonder if they should have just played like bishop e2. So they could still try to cover up their light squares with bishop f3 to g2. So this is a funny choice to me. He's repeatedly recommending moves that I kind of reject automatically. Or quickly, not automatically. Normally with the knight on b6, I don't feel so great about this like a4, a5 stuff. But I guess it's playable. Definitely an interesting idea. Okay, that was the last example with g3. Maybe I'll see if I can get something similar real quick in a fast game. I have black, that's a good start. Oops. You guys need to at least see the board. Oof, that is not working. Oh man. Too slow. Sag. Okay. Understandable. But they played b4 anyway, so it's kind of like a waste. Okay. Try again. Alright, this isn't gonna work. Let's get it over with. I don't like aborting. That's not any kind of commentary, just I don't like aborting my game. Okay, I think this is a line that's not super great. It's just too ambitious. I think you have to castle before you play d5. Now that doesn't mean that I won't flag and burn and be very sad, but I think my position's good. Queen d6. Maybe bishop b5, or just d4 straight away. Or b4. b4, b5. That looks pretty reasonable. Knight on b2, I'm sorry, knight on b1 still is guarding c3, so that's convenient. Well, that's nuts. I think I'll just take it. Like, what's the big idea? I think I can just take on e5. Yeah, this looks fine. Castle long. Just very gung-ho to take on d3. Excuse me. Kind of feel like letting them dig their own grave, if I can. I can do this. Then they have queen d4. I have bishop e3. No, no. They do have a lot of activity in a 3-minute game. I should probably have thought about that. Alright. Just make moves. Consequences irrelevant. Don't care. Now everybody's safe. Yay! Oh wait, then there's knight c2 stuff. So maybe first this. We protect things. Keep them all very safe, very nice. There are many pawns. That could be an issue. Feels good, man. But I have 20 seconds, so I'm gonna die. This always happens to me. Get a great position and die. Oof, I need to take that. Got it. Yes. That almost sucked a lot. Okay, so one more, try to get a Slav. Okay. Hey, that's not Slav. I want to try to use the thing that I looked at. Curse you. People love to play things with d4 lately, I've noticed. I feel like I've messed this up recently myself. Alright, let's try this. It's a little different. Yes. Ain't that fresh. I think I should take this one because it's prettier. No losing pawns. That's illegal. You're not allowed to threaten me. Stop that. It's quite rude. Alright, they take, and I'm good. So I do that. What are they doing? I don't quite see what they're doing. So maybe I'll play queen e6 just to rustle their jimmies. Bad structure, they say. Okay. Now where's my entry point? I feel kind of bad to abandon the queen side, but I think I'm going to do this. I mean, abandon the king side. Shit, I forgot to play h6. That was part of my plan. Dang it. Okay, I'm probably lost now. This is sad. Should not have done that. I'm very depressed. This is bad. I think I have to just go back and defend in a bad way. Everything's on the wrong color. I don't like this. I don't know what you expected to happen there. That was not good. I think it's yeah, great bishop, thanks. This would not have been so bad if I didn't forget to play h6. I was like, oh, I'm gonna play h6 and then do these things, and then I played b5. I think here if I play h6 I'm fine. Yeah, this is not bad. Basically equal. But kind of dumb, nevertheless. Yeah, probably I should just play for a draw, but I didn't really want to. When I play online, I just don't feel like that. I don't know what's gonna happen. Maybe try to do this. It's not really gonna happen though. Just a draw. So where did I still have chances to win here even? Maybe e5 was too adventurous. Okay, also knight d4 is a repeat mistake. I wasn't sure if I should allow d4, but this is fine. Sorry. This is perfectly playable. So I should have gone there. This is... yeah, probably e5 was too adventurous. Kind of dumb. Made my bishop bad long term. That's probably it. Yeah, knights are good in endgames like that, for sure. I didn't know that when I played e5. Alright, I'm not getting any Slav stuff. This is funny, because I was getting like nothing but g3 Slav for a couple minutes. I guess they really badly want me to take this pawn, huh? Not sure I care to. But at the same time, are the pieces that great? Alright, let's say I don't. Take. I have to finish my development with e6, so it's not happening. Maybe I should have played d5 actually. That might have been smarter. Okay, they shouldn't trade queens in positions like this. If they can get their knight to d6 quickly, maybe they're okay. So I can just take that pawn. Pretty confident. Maybe a6 here. Or bishop d7. This looks pretty reasonable. I wouldn't be that proud to have this knight. I can attack your bishops with my knights all day. Except that this is a 3-minute game and I'll probably flag. Flagging ensues. Alright, and now for my masterpiece, where I get rid of their knight. But, okay, this is probably not any time to be academic about if I should play rook d8 first or not. But I will. I will. Makes sense to me. To me. Get out. Leave this place. Yes. Good. Check, check, check. Bully, bully, bully. Maybe I should have fixed that before I, you know, just went to go get it. Yeah, now that could be an issue. But I'll just create problems for them. Small problems, tiny problems. Minuscule, non-existent problems. Uh-oh. That drops a pawn. I don't like that. Please drop a piece. Obnoxious. Not good. Just flagging here, don't mind me. I hate 3-minute. This is the worst time control for me. Random threads. Yeah, I just like playing random moves, right? I was completely winning, it doesn't matter. I'm probably gonna wrap up for now because I have to do some real life stuff. But yeah, it was good doing the chessable review and playing a couple Blitz games with you guys. Yeah, I'll catch you all later. Thank you for tuning in. Yeah, I knew he meant MK. Alright, bye everyone. Thank you.